And they had this thing like on Wednesday nights, like alumni of the Jaywalker program can come in and hang out and eat dinner and like fellowship and chat with people. And I remember that first Wednesday night when they came in, I'm seeing like all these young, cool dudes coming off of like the river wearing waders, or coming off the ski hill, or mountain biking, or dudes in camo, like coming off the mountain from elk hunting. And I'm like, I see all of them and they're all stoked. They're all smiling. And I think I had this idea in my head that like, I'm going to be in a 12-step meeting every night of my life. And,
right.
And the highlight is going to be making coffee for my home group or whatever. And I'm like, I'm doomed to this thing. But then when I saw those dudes coming in, the light bulb came on. I'm like, these guys are killing it. Like having actual genuine fun in life, and they're sober. And it was like, that was like, I can do this. And
yeah.
And so I latched onto a community there, and really like, hunting and fishing had just not been a part of my life, but like I dove back in fully into the outdoors through that kind of program. And I was fly fishing every day, skiing every day we could, really got into elk hunting a bunch out there. And it was kind of before YouTube was much of a thing. So we got our asses kicked for like 3 years in a row without seeing any elk on public land. And
yeah,
that was like a huge component of my sobriety, and like the reason that it kind of clicked for me and made sense is like the community aspect is huge, but then the outdoors and hunting and fishing is like, that's what really fired me up. And so I took a job just because I was like so hungry and eager to prove to people that I was serious this time, because I had just let them down so many times. I took a job at a burger joint as a busboy, like straight out of this program, just to be like, I just want a job. I want to show them that I'm serious. And it was up on the ski hill, and it was like an hour and a half commute to get to work because it was in the middle of the ski hill. I had to take a bus there and get my stuff, ski down, ski up, ski back down to the burger shack, change, and then clock in. So I did that for a little while, and then kind of bounced around hospitality jobs. I worked at a detox for a little while, and that was really tough, like bringing in alcoholics off the streets, and worked at some treatment centers. And then I started working as a valet for a 5-star hotel in the wintertime, and it's a really nice bougie hotel. A lot of rich people go there, and that was fun. And then they had a fly shop, like an adventure center, that they would turn over in the summertime and open up to guests and do guided fly fishing trips and jeep tours. And so the guy that was running that left, and I applied for that job and took that job. And so I started running this adventure center program, like, and guiding a lot of fly fishing trips then. And so I was a guide for 3 years. Fly fishing guiding it's interesting. It's definitely more of, you're not actually really guiding, you're kind of hand holding and untangling knots, but it was fun because I was
tying
outside.
Flies on and keeping people out of the weeds.
Yeah. So I did that, and then
but you're on the river. I mean, you were
on the river outside every day.
Yeah, on a raft every day.
Yeah, rowing a bunch. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then I got an opportunity. There's a company there in Carbondale called Backbone Media. They're a PR and media agency. And I knew about them, and I knew they worked with some really good brands. And they posted a job opening on Facebook, and I had like 4 different people, totally unrelated, be like, hey, you should apply for this job. You'd be really good at it. None of these people knew each other. So I'm like, there's 4 different people telling me I should apply. Like, I'm going to check this out. And so I applied. And they were kind of like in this transitionary period where they had one client that was kind of like phasing out, and they were shopping a new client, which was Sick of Gear. And so I interviewed and did really well, but the job wasn't ready yet. And so like 3 or 4 months later, they called me and they're like, hey, you're hired. And I was like, okay, let me think about this. Cause I was working as a valet and a fly fishing guide, like making a lot of cash.
Yeah.
Not like rich by any means, but not paying taxes on a lot of it. And this job was a very entry level job into PR. So it didn't pay very well. And so I was taking a pretty big pay cut.
Can't believe you wouldn't pay your taxes. I mean,
I never said that. Maybe I did. But no, so it was kind of like it was a big pay cut, and I'm like, I was really like considering not taking it, but I had a friend say like, hey dude, like this is a step back to take a step forward. You know?
Like a career path.
Yeah. And I knew I didn't want to be a guide forever or a valet forever. So I ended up taking the job and worked there for a couple of years doing PR for some really good brands like Sick Gear and Filson. And that was kind of I guess guiding kind of gave me the intro into the outdoor industry, but the PR job for Backbone Media, definitely, like, that was my entrance. And working for some premium brands, I got to learn a ton, and made a lot of good connections.